Yep, it's one of those days here. All right, guys, today is the day we're finally getting this thing on the dyno. We've had some major setbacks with this, but today's the day. Just fired it up for the first time with a new tune. It sounds pretty mean. You can see what kind of power a 2020 Silverado with a ProCharger with methanol is gonna make. All right, so we're all ready to go here. This is taking a tremendous amount of time. I had some problems with the dyno. Let's just say it's been a day so far, and we're not even really started. So let's get rolling here though. So we made some boost and we did not get our enrichment there that we wanted. So 10 pounds boost, 5,300 RPM, no enrichment yet. And let's go figure out how this thing is enriching. And so right here, this is our mass airflow sensor. Again, on our original video where we had done our baseline kind of figuring and tuning on our first 2020 truck, this mass airflow is the complete opposite of what others do. This one goes from high to low. For one, we didn't go into enrichment, so I needed to lower the threshold for power enrichment. So that is our heavy fueling. That would be, if we're talking about carburetors, that would be like where the secondaries open and give you that influx of fuel to really enrich and hence make power, hence power enrichment. And I've added about 7.5% fuel in this area right here and 5% down there. Hopefully that will be able to at least get us in the ballpark, be able to make a longer pull than that joke of a little one right there. But again, I gotta be soft, don't wanna hurt anything on our first shakedown, got a lot to figure out. Also, last time I was struggling with the spark advance a little bit. I did put the base timing right in there, and the timing does reflect what I have programmed in there. So let's try and make sure that everything is working exactly as it's supposed to be, because this 2020 seems to be just a little bit different, have a few little nuances that are just a little bit tricky. Knocking out problems left and right. We don't know if we have our methanol enriching yet. Nothing? Okay. Well, we got to figure that out first. So we made 471 wheel horsepower before running out of fuel at like 5,000 RPM. So we got to figure out our enrichment. And without the methanol, I don't think we're going to have it. So we got to get that working right now. All right, guys. So you saw we made a couple of pulls right there here. So we made a best of about 619, and we're having a hell of a hard time trying to control the fueling. This thing has really kicked my butt. Last time it was the spark advance, and I think we got that under control now. However, right now, the fueling, it just does not have enough fueling, even with the methanol. Pardon the wind there. But we're a little rich right down here, and it finally had enough fuel here, but the injection timing, because we're dropping fuel pressure so much, it's just, I lost a bunch of power right there. So has most definitely been a learning and frustrating experience, but we are getting somewhere. Grasping at straws, trying to find some way to control the fueling because our low side fueling is not supplying enough to the high side. I would normally command somewhere about 70 to 80 pounds of pressure. I'm commanding that, however, I'm only getting about, say, 44, and it drops down to about 38. So that makes it hard for that to be stepped up in thousands of pounds of pressure. But because the low side isn't producing, the high side can only step up so much. So it's been pretty difficult trying to control the fueling because the mass airflow has about this much resolution. That's been very frustrating as well. This whole 2020 Silverado, just like 2020 in general, has been a real kick in the, I think I got a little something that might work. I'm trying to apply some stuff, but let's give this a shot here. All right, so this pull, we're gonna open up the cutouts. It's a lot louder. It sounds like a real beast. All right, let's give it a shot. right, so we made it best of 675, and that pull right there was 621. I think we're gonna have to settle for the 675. I was hoping I could be able to squeeze out just a little bit more and crest that 700 number. That would have been stellar. We're just making this fit just barely. So it's been a rough, long day just on this car. Let's go out, go take it for a ride. Not bad. Only saw 12.6, 11.6 to 12.6. Might be able to make this work. Yeah, if I can get a hold of this tranny and make this tranny shift, that'd be pretty awesome. Are you recording? Yep. Let's give this a shot here. That actually moves out pretty good. All right, guys, so there is some very important things that we have to note about testing this 2020 Silverado. Most odd thing is that the air fuel on the street was night and day difference. I mean, it was like 10-12% different than what we were on the dyno. So I struggled for so long to try and get the air fuel where it needed to be, and we take it and put it on the street, and it's actually usable and manageable. So I actually pulled some fuel away, and we were able to make that work. Now, the other thing, too, is the fact that HP Tuners does not support that trans yet. So at least not that year. They do support the 10-speed, just not in the 2020. It has a different processor. And they're still working on disassembling that right now. The truck does shift a little bit early. We're not able to use the full power band with it, but it does perform quite well. So we're going to find out how that thing does perform very shortly. Now, the next day, I did have a CTS-V that was pretty rowdy. Definitely one of the higher performing ones. This thing has a Whipple. It's a stock bottom end, heads and cam. On our baseline dyno pull, we made 823 wheel horsepower. Now, just with tuning, this thing is making some very large strides. It was kind of interesting to see what can be done with changing the cam timing, getting the right injection timing, getting the fuel pressure right. There were some very large gains to be had, and a very good-looking car to boot. So this is what Ben's car could eventually be as it grows up a little bit. It just kind of occurred to me, I don't know if I listed all the mods on that. Nick Williams 103mm throttle body. It has some methanol injection, headers, heads, and cam. Making right about, I want to say 19 pounds of boost. Ripping that thing on the street was an absolute blast. I wish I had some footage of that. Unfortunately, I do not. But next, I wanted to share with you guys a few things of what I've been doing to continue to better my truck and trailer as a tow vehicle. Found something that I really wanted to share with you guys. And if you guys have an older truck, kind of like me, this is an awesome upgrade for you guys. Man, this would not have been possible without this Texas Pride trailer. This has been so awesome. I can't believe how big this thing is and how much stuff I can actually fit on this. But in the continuance of trying to make this a better towing vehicle and even make the trailer even better, I've had a little problem here. So my hitch is pretty sad. Pretty low, We've repaired that thing probably like 3 or 4 times. It's been okay, but this is definitely a bit more loads. I got a hitch that I'm very quickly going to replace, but it's going to make this whole dynamic very, very different. And I'll show you why in just a second. So I had a customer with that hitch, and he was towing something like that mega truck that we had done a few weeks back. Positioning it in the trailer was incredibly important. I thought that was going to be a great idea given that I have a bunch of different things and trying to position them right. So my guess was good. You saw right over there we had about 1,600 pounds of tongue weight. Got a couple more things that we're going to do to it. And the next thing, tow mirrors. So guys, now that I'm doing more and more events and taking more cars to all sorts of different places, I'm having to tow a bunch more. And one problem that I've had to deal with is those mirrors. Those OEM mirrors are really not quite cutting it. In fact, I even got pulled over and the cop was behind me for probably about 20 or 30 seconds before I even realized, and it was because I didn't have tow mirrors. He let me have it for not having some tow mirrors. So finally, I'm getting some tow mirrors. I searched high and low, looked all over the internet, and I came back to Boost Auto Parts. These are OEM quality, except they're even modified a little bit further than that. So a very nice mirror, and this has an extra bright backup light. So this is very much OEM, except we got a sequential turn signal, and this goes white and yellow, and this does extend for what we need when we're towing. Now they make these for GM, Ford, Dodge, and Nissan as well. All right, so this should be a pretty straightforward install, but I can't wait to see what they look like as well as their performance. Guys, I cannot say how pleased I am with this Texas Pride trailer. This thing towed awesome. Had zero problems. The truck actually made better gas mileage than when I had the enclosed trailer, and towing more. So I'm super happy with that. We had the Miata on here, and right now I'm going to take the trailer off so we can put the tow mirrors on there. Had zero problems towing at over 80 miles an hour. It towed like a dream. All right, so we already popped off this panel, and our little lock top there. Got two 10 millimeters here, 10 millimeter there. We already got that off. We're going to pop this thing off, and then there's 3 more bolts right back here. All right, 3 more 10 millimeter bolts there. We'll have this mirror off in just a second. That's fine. All right, so we got our little latch right there. Kind of slide this guy over like that, like that. Now we can deal with all that. Okay. All right, we're halfway there. No, just go right here. And quit doing this up thing. All right. All right, this is such a nice unit. I can't wait to get this thing on there. They have a couple of different things that you got to do for the harness. So in order to get the backup lights to work, which works on a later model vehicle and not this one, it's pretty simple. We just go ahead and we go to the reverse light, and that's part of this harness here, as well as this guy is for the turn signals. Let's start with this. All right, it's been raining, so we had to quit for a little while, but check this out. So sweet. That is so bright. That is going to help out tremendously backing up. Definitely a feature that I've wanted a whole bunch, so huge shout out to Boost Auto Parts. That is awesome product. Really like it. So I got the switchback with the sequential, and that's what that is right there. That's a perfect example of what the switchback with the sequential is right there. Those Boost Auto mirrors are awesome. Definitely helping me see everything I need to see. Such a nice upgrade. Next, I want to direct your attention to Fasterproms store. You guys are literally changing the direction of Fasterproms and the stuff we're doing and trying to accomplish with your merch purchases. So thank you guys so much for that. Check out our hats, t-shirts, lanyards, stickers, and our Uncle Sam poster that is signed by all the Fasterproms crew. There's only a few of those left, so you guys hit those up before they're all gone. Now, let's get on to the video. Guys, thanks for tuning into this episode. We got a whole bunch of stuff coming up this next week. We got some cater tot stuff, as well as some... George takes you guys in and shows you some intricacies on how to port a cylinder head. I can't wait for you guys to see that. That's going to be absolutely awesome. Guys, those Boost Auto mirrors have made an awesome addition to my truck, definitely improving the looks and basically the functioning of how it tows. So I'm really pleased with them. Check them out. So I wanted to leave you guys with a quote here, and this is from John F. Kennedy. It says, "If not us, then who? And if not now, then when?" Song I want to leave you with, really kind of feeling some Get Up, Stand Up here by Bob Marley and the Wailers. All right, guys, God bless you. We'll see you next episode. Cheers. Cheers. Hey, Jericho. Jericho, ball. Jericho, ball.